Welcome everyone. I'm going to be breaking down a flow sequence that's created in 3 different sequences, 3 different parts. So we'll start with that. I'll give all the alignment cues on how I set it up, and then we'll see how it flows. All right, so starting with the first part in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. We're going to maintain neutral pelvis and squared hips. Right hip point down a little bit. On an exhale breath, knee to chest, we're stepping to the right thumb, coming into a runner's lunge. Now, the one thing I really like to do in runner's lunge is cue the pelvis to come down first. The reason for that is when I step toward my hand, my hips come up, and if I lower my knee, I'm not in a long enough lunge position. So what I want to do is bring my pelvis down first, then down on the knee, top of left foot firmly pressing. Inhale, Anjaneyasana, both arms reach up. For this one, back foot anchors into the mat, hip points lift, bottom ribs draw in. I give the cue to squeeze the hamstring, which creates a deeper bend in the knee, pulling the pelvis forward. Reaching up through the fingertips, exhale, coming into a half splits. So I want to stay stacked. I don't want to drop or sit back. And from here, my knee is underneath my hip. My right foot is flexed. Now, this transition you may have seen with me before. I do it quite often. We pivot around to a gate coming to the back of the mat. Now, more specifically, I want that front foot flat, and I want my back hand, the one at the back of the mat, fingers pointing away as I sweep the arm to the back. Palm facing down, hips pressing forward. We got there on an inhale breath. Now I'm going to exhale, crawl to the front. As I come around with that exhale, I have time to lift my back knee as I curl my back toes underneath in the runner's lunge stance. Inhale, coming up for high crescent lunge. Oftentimes I'll cue a slight bend in the back knee so that I can pull my hip points up. I do this modified crescent lunge sometimes. I want to keep the bottom ribs pulled in, the right knee over the right ankle, arms up, palms face one another. Exhaling, hands to the mat, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So same thing, left side, left leg lifts. We got neutral pelvis, squared hips. Exhale, stepping to left thumb, runner's lunge. Now my hips are up, so I want to lower the pelvis down and then the knee to the ground. Top of right foot anchors me down for stability. Anjaneyasana, arms reach. I'm pressing the top of my right thigh forward as I pull the lower belly in. Always knitting the ribs, that's transverse abdominis, giving a squeeze into the left hamstring. Exhaling to half splits. Now there is a little thing that I didn't mention before. I kind of cheat my left heel forward a little bit. That gives me enough length and space for the next transition as we go into gate coming around. Front foot flat, right fingers point toward the back of the mat, and I sweep that left arm toward the back. Hips are pressing forward, palm is down, my arm bone rotates externally. Got there on an inhale, so we exhale around to the front. That exhale breath gives me time to transition, to curl the toes and lift the knee for high crescent lunge. Again, a little bend if you want it. Front ribs, belly in. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale up. Exhales, downward facing dog. So now part 2. Inhale, right leg lifts. We're still keeping a neutral pelvis and squared hips. Exhale, step to the right thumb. What you're going to notice is we start with the pose that we finished with in the last sequence. So coming up into high crescent lunge. Inhale, breath. Because they were here already, I usually go right into the next movement, which is what I call arrow lunge, crown of the head forward. Now the outer right hip I want to pull back, palms face the mat, thumbs out. Now with an inhale breath, I'm going to go ahead and open up into warrior 2, reversing my warrior. All the way up and back, reverse warrior. Right knee, if it comes in, it's just because of this back hip. So I want to create an inward rotation of the back thigh. Toes turned in just slight. Deep bend in front knee. Toes relaxed. I'm not gripping. Then with an exhale breath, I'll windmill the hands to the mat. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhales, downward dog. Left leg, inhale breath, we lift. Neutral pelvis, squared hips. And that's the cue I always give. Exhale, step to thumb. Now remember, we started with the last pose of the last sequence. crescent. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hand sweep, arrow lunge. Left hip back, palms face the mat, triceps engaged. I'll spin my back foot flat and reverse warrior coming all the way back. I'll show you that movement one more time. I use my back hand on the right side to sweep up and around as my back heel comes down for the reverse warrior. Making sure the front toe stays soft. And then with an exhale, windmilling to the mat, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhales down. Now we're on our third round, third part. Right leg lifts. This time we give permission to bend the knee and open up the hip because we're going to get into more open hip postures. Exhale, we're stepping between the hands because that was the last pose that we did. Back foot flat. Inhale, reverse warrior. Now I'm going to exhale into triangle pose, coming down with my triangle. What I really like to cue is to draw the hips back, reaching forward with the top hand. I'm stacked, inner right shoulder draws back, top hip is pressing forward, bottom ribs knit. Inhale, we rise all the way back up to the top, coming to center. Now, lots of options here, right? We can always add different poses. We'll go goddess pose. Heels come in, knees bend deep. So the pivoting of the heels is key to help me build my stability. I'm pushing my knees back, chest stays upright. Now I'm going to inhale, spin the heels out as the arms reach up, and then exhale, warrior two, facing the front. Now, this is the first time I've actually stopped in warrior two. And what a lot of people do when they come forward into warrior two is the back hip lifts. So I want that back hip to come down, arms to reach out. I'll finish with reverse triangle, straightening the leg, reaching up and back, and then exhaling, hands to the mat, chaturanga. Inhale up, exhales down. So here it is, left side. Lift the leg, bend the knee, stack the hip. Exhale, step between the hands. Back foot goes flat, starting with reverse warrior, going all the way up and back. We've been here before, so I'll go right to the next pose. Triangle. Focus on hips, shifting back, reaching forward, trying to stay stacked over the leg. Inside, outside, on the shin. Bottom shoulder naturally rolls in, so I'm going to move the bottom shoulder back, and as I do that, my top hip moves forward. Keeping the core tight. We're going to inhale, rise, pivot. My left foot turns in. That gives me my feet, toes pointing to the long edge of the mat, and stability. Then I pivot my heels in, bending the knees. My heels will go out as I come up. Inhale. Now I'm stable and strong, and I can go anywhere from here. But we're going to go to warrior two, front of the room, making sure my back hip is down. That removes any forward lean that's happening. Straightening the leg to finish the flow. Big inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale up. Exhales down. Now let's put it together and here with the breath. Starting with the first part, adding the second, then the third. Inhale, right leg. Exhale, step. So we lower the knee. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, pivot to the back, gate. Exhale, crawl to the front, runners, back knee up. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Exhale, arrow lunge, arm sweep. Left arm moving me around. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, triangle. We're putting it together. Inhale, rise, turn to the side. Exhale, heels in for goddess. Inhale, heels out as I come up. Exhale, warrior two, facing the front. Straightening the leg. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up. Exhales down. Left leg, inhale. Exhale, step. Crescent lunge, low. Inhale. Exhale, straighten the leg. Half splits. We pivot with an inhale breath. And then exhale, transition, no rush. Back knee comes up. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Exhale, arrow lunge or arm airplane arms. Inhale, right arm comes around, back heel down, reverse warrior. Exhale, triangle. Inhale, rise, turning to the side. Heels in, exhale, goddess. Heels out, inhale, come up. Exhale, warrior two, facing the front. Straighten the leg, inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale to the bottom of a push-up, chaturanga. Inhales up, exhales down, and then we flow it for a few rounds. So there's the entire setup, the build-up, and the flow.